The woman just wants to prove that ghosts and gods do not exist in the world. She suddenly had a whim to take a camera and crawl into a coffin, lying down next to a corpse that had not been dead for very long. After everything was ready, the brother above completely sealed the coffin lid. As the inside of the coffin fell into total darkness, Lisa quickly adjusted the camera to night vision mode, preparing to record what kind of terrifying things would actually happen in the coffin. It turns out a terrifying legend was circulating locally. According to legend, as long as it is a wicked person with heavy sins, in the days after death, they will suffer the god's tomb torture inside the coffin. Although the local people believe it without doubt, Lisa thinks it is all nonsense, firmly believing those ghost and god sayings are religious threats to intimidate believers. And the wealthy man who died beside her was a scumbag full of evil deeds during his lifetime. For this reason, she performed this absurd operation. The purpose was to prove to the world that all demons and monsters are nonsense. As the time reached 12 o'clock midnight, Lisa's hair stood on end. Even though she is an atheist, being in this sealed and dark environment, she still involuntarily felt terrified, fearing that some bad things would appear out of thin air. Fortunately, no abnormality appeared in the coffin. There was only the sound of her own breathing around and the foul smell of the corpse. Lisa thus passed the night without any danger, until the next day when her brother Pride opened the coffin lid. Then breathed a sigh of relief, as if a heavy burden was lifted. After coming up, she checked the footage immediately, finding that from beginning to end, the so-called tomb torture never appeared in the coffin. Clearly, that legend was pure deception. In order to shatter this legend that deludes the public, Lisa went to the television station without a second thought, intending to inform everyone through the media that ghosts and gods simply do not exist in the world, much less the so-called tomb torture. However, just as she prepared to make the recorded video public, there was only a pitch-black image on the screen. It was not at all the scene she filmed in the coffin last night. In order to figure out the sequence of events behind this, Lisa immediately went to find her brother to ask the reason. And the truth was indeed as she expected. It was the brother who secretly swapped the memory card. And the reason the brother did this was because he didn't want Lisa to be obsessed with matters of ghosts and gods. Even more, he didn't want her to be immersed in the pain of the past. It turns out the reason Lisa was always obsessed with whether ghosts and gods exist was all because of an incident experienced in childhood. The siblings originally had a happy family. However, storms come without warning. On this day, a religious believer who worshipped a god walked into the parents' bakery. Because he had done many evil deeds before, he was afraid of encountering the god's tomb torture after death, so he decided to use explosives to commit suicide on the street as atonement, hoping to receive the god's forgiveness after death. Lisa's parents saw this and wanted to step forward to dissuade him. Unexpectedly, they were instead affected by the other party's explosive suicide, blown to pieces on the spot with no remains left. And the siblings who witnessed this scene were left with psychological shadows. From then on, Lisa blamed her parents' death on those extreme religious believers, and even viewed those legends about gods as jokes. She believed that if gods truly existed, why wouldn't those evil-doing bad people suffer punishment during their lifetime? Why must they wait until after death to receive the god's punishment? So in order to verify whether gods actually exist, she forced herself to crawl into the coffin of a wicked deceased person, intending to use this to prove there are no ghosts or gods in the world. And Lisa's profession is a caregiver at a nursing home. That dead corpse was exactly the wealthy old man Lisa was responsible for taking care of. The other party was a villain who did every bad deed when he was young. Therefore, after his death, he became the best candidate for Lisa to verify the tomb torture. Little did she know that because she rashly crawled into the wealthy man's coffin last night, eerie things then haunted her. This instantly gave Lisa a startle, because that voice was actually the voice of the dead wealthy man. At first, Lisa thought she was having auditory hallucinations, and not believing in evil, she immediately rushed to the wealthy man's former room to check. Result the next second. In disbelief, she hurriedly rubbed her eyes. As a result, that dark shadow mysteriously disappeared again. Immediately after, an old lady appeared at the door. It turns out this old lady was also a resident of the nursing home. Then she told Lisa, saying her husband seemed to have an affair with a young nurse, begging Lisa to help go over and confirm. Hearing this, Lisa pushed open the door without a second thought. Sure enough, her colleague was being intimate with the old man. Seeing the matter exposed, the old man hurriedly explained it was a misunderstanding. However, How could the old lady be willing to believe? She didn't expect her husband to cheat at such an age, and cursed her unfaithful husband to surely suffer God's punishment after death. And the old man's behavior disgusted the old lady to the point of foaming at the mouth, until after calming down, the old lady put her dirty clothes into the washing machine. Unexpectedly, at this time she found her ring had accidentally fallen into the washing machine. Forced by necessity, the old lady had to crawl into the washing machine, trying to take her ring out. Unexpectedly, her hand accidentally pressed the start button of the washing machine. Soon the rolling washing machine tumbled continuously along with the old lady's body. Accompanied by this operation, the old lady's body was almost shaken to pieces. Finally, because her hair got stuck in the washing machine, this caused the drum to barely stop rotating. Then the old lady used all her strength trying to get rid of the washing machine's restraint. Unexpectedly, she used too much force, tearing the entire skin of her face right off. The old lady thus lost her life, and the old lady's husband was heartbroken after learning of it. He blamed all of this on himself. If it weren't for him messing around with the young nurse, his wife would not have died a tragic death. And Lisa, as the old lady's caregiver, was naturally also very guilty. However, precisely because of the old lady's tragic death, Lisa could hear the old lady calling her every night. Haunted, Lisa tossed and turned, unable to sleep, forced by necessity. She had to find a psychic to see if the dead old lady still had unfulfilled wishes. Soon, the psychic began the ritual to channel spirits. Accompanied by her finishing a series of incantations, the old lady soon possessed her body. This Lisa instantly jumped in. Kind-hearted, she simply did not believe in any soul possession, thinking this was all the psychic talking nonsense. To avoid causing a disaster, she quickly pulled open the curtains, interrupting this channeling ceremony. However, this still did not prevent the tragedy from happening. At night, just as she was chatting with the young nurse, the dead old lady's husband suddenly launched a sneak attack, almost stabbing the young nurse to death. Lisa had to take her colleague and flee frantically. However, the old man had gone completely insane, firmly believing that as long as he killed the young nurse, he could obtain the forgiveness of his wife and the god. Fortunately, Lisa timely locked him outside the door, who knew just as the young nurse turned around. Another old man in the nursing home stabbed the young nurse to death with a knife. It turns out the old man was also a loyal religious believer. He could not tolerate the young nurse seducing a married man, so he acted on behalf of the god to carry out punishment. What made Lisa even more dumbfounded was, even the colleague thought she herself was deeply sinful, picked up a small knife, and frantically stabbed herself repeatedly. At this moment, Lisa was completely broken down. She didn't expect so many people to be beyond cure. In order to prove there are no ghosts or gods in the world, Lisa went outside overnight, dug up the dead wealthy man's grave. She thought if the god truly existed, then the wealthy man's corpse must have been punished. But unexpectedly, after she pried open the coffin lid, she found with horror that the wealthy man's corpse lying inside had actually vanished into thin air. In order to figure all this out, Lisa hurriedly jumped down. Unexpectedly, the next second, a continuous stream of soil poured in, as if it were going to bury her on the spot, until the surroundings completely returned to calm. Lisa found with horror that the wealthy man's grave had strangely expanded. In order to escape with her life, Lisa could only carry a flashlight to look for an exit everywhere. However, at this moment, a strange sound came from the cave. When she followed the sound over, she actually found the other party was the dead wealthy man. This instantly scared Lisa out of her wits. But no matter where she ran, she could never find the exit of the grave. The next second, the wealthy man lunged at her again. Just when she didn't know what to do, she strangely returned to the side of the corpse again. It turns out everything that happened before was because her lack of oxygen caused hallucinations to appear. She shouted for her brother to save her and get her out. But after calling for a long time, there was still no response. However, at this time, a poisonous snake crawled in through the coffin hole. As the poisonous snake crawled into the wealthy man's corpse, the next second Lisa recorded an unforgettable scene with the camera. She saw the corpse actually slowly sat up. A painful and horrifying sound came from its mouth. This instantly scared Lisa into a grimace. Before she could react, the wealthy man's head was smashed by a hammer. She was also splashed in the face with black blood. Until this moment, Lisa realized the legendary tomb torture actually exists. Now she was already scared out of her soul, could only keep opening her mouth to repent, asking the god to forgive her great disrespect, and stating that in the future she will surely uphold a heart of awe, and will never again disturb or desecrate the god. And at the same time, the brother above finally pried open the coffin lid, using every ounce of strength, finally saved this death-seeking sister from the coffin. Then the siblings supported each other and fled this place. And the film thus